Hey everybody, Three Good Nerds here. This is going to be a super fast tutorial, just a how to quickly get started in the world of TTMing. I'm going to use this as an example. So this was a letter that I apparently sent back in probably around December, November, based on that stamp, to Mr. Aussemacher. It came back. It has seen better days. But I want to show you how I send letters to athletes like Paul Aussemacher, and also how I try to limit the amount of returns, because I did waste my time and stamp and letter sending this, and you know, it's just part of it. You're not going to get all your cards back, but I think I do a pretty good job on sending and receiving, not just blindly sending out. So I'm going to quickly show you how I do things. So let's start with the letter first, since I have one on my hand. This is a good example of exactly what I send out. So I get 2 envelopes. What I like to do is I have this little, zoom out a little bit. I have this little workstation, and I have a notepad that's pretty small, and I'll write a note on there to the athlete, and it'll say something like, "Dear so-and-so, I hope this finds you well. You know, my son and I like to collect cards. You know, we'd appreciate, you know, your time and I don't know, signing the enclosed, whatever." You can add personalized. They really like it if you do personalized, like, "Hey, my dad and I used to watch you when I was a kid," or "I love the Cubs," or "Hey, I always heard Brett Favre was a terrible quarterback. What do you think?" I don't know, that kind of stuff. And just, you know, say, you know, thank him for your time, stuff like that. And then what I do is I will get my cards. Ooh, see, this one got ripped up in the mail. There's my letter right there. This one, sometimes I'll have my son put stickers on the on the little card savers. The card saver is something I started doing, I don't know, 6-8 months ago. Before that, I was just putting my card in there kind of loose, but having an index card, and then so hoping that was going to be rigid enough. But I find that my card savers are actually better. So you can see I put my cards in this, and what I've started doing. See if I can have one in my cheat sheet, my little bucket here. Okay, here we go. Instead of doing full on like this is just 2 index cards with some painter's tape. I'll actually do the same thing, but I've been cutting down the middle because I think it makes it easier for the athletes or the celebrities or whoever it is to get the cards in and out. Because once it's there, you can just pop it out real easy. So that's what I've been doing. And this does a pretty good job of protecting it in the envelope to and from. So I drop it in my card saver. I like to add an additional index card with some questions on it. Like this one, I asked Paul Aussemacher. I said, "Hey, you have 179 unique baseball cards. Do you have a favorite?" This one says, "Who was your first major league strikeout? And did you save the ball?" Obviously, he didn't sign it because he didn't open the envelope, but that's the kind of stuff. I never ask anything too pointed, like which manager did you hate the most or anything negative. They're all random stuff. Sometimes it's like, "Hey, what was your first job?" or "What's your favorite sports movie?" Anyway, and then I put it in my letter just like that, and I do a return envelope. And now see, I only send, at least the cards, I don't send anything too heavy. So it's just a regular stamp. I put it in my envelope just like that. Just like that. And then I will stick it in an envelope. I'll have it addressed and my return address up there. I will also say that I have started using, for my return envelopes, the automatic peel and stuff. They can just do that. They don't have to like put tape or anything on it. I think it is a double-edged sword. I have seen where people will return it and forget to pull this off, and so you just have an open envelope when it comes in your mailbox. But I also think that I try to make it as easy and convenient for whomever is signing as possible. So I think that makes it a little easier. Now, the box of envelopes for this one with the peel and stick is like $1 more. So, but when it's like, I don't know, 60 envelopes or something in there, it's not, it's not cost prohibitive. And like I said, I'm trying to make it easier for them. So that's how I physically send my letters. Now, if you're sending things like baseballs or anything heavier, you're going to want to weigh it. And what I would do is if you can do it from home, that's great. You can weigh it and figure out what your stamps are. But the few times I've sent heavy stuff, I've gone to the post office and I'll have everything packaged up like a baseball in a big bag, and then I'll have my return envelope in there. And what I'll do is I'll ask the person working in the post office to give me 2 sets of stamps, but don't seal this bag. So I'll put whatever it costs to send on the outside, and then I'll pull out that envelope and then put the same postage on that one and then just slide it back in there and send it that way. If that makes sense, because it's not as easy peasy. Also, I've started to send to Canada, and Canada requires different postage, and I don't have any right now because I've used all my Canadian postage. But you'll have to get an international stamp, and the one that they're using right now looks kind of like a sunflower. And then on the way back, what I do is, instead of doing just our normal stamp or an international stamp, because it needs to be Canadian, you can actually buy these Canadian international stamps from their website and have them shipped to you. And that seems to be a pretty easy way to go. Again, I try to make this as easy as possible for whomever is signing it. A lot of people will send to France or the Netherlands or whatever. The few times I've done that, and I've only done it a couple times, I've just included like a $5 bill and said, I would really appreciate it if you'd put this towards the postage. I don't know. I don't like doing that because I feel like it's not convenient, right? So if somebody sent me $5 worth of pesos, what am I going to do with that? I don't know. Nothing. It's just going to sit there. So, I mean, I think the thought behind it is really what you're trying to do is to, not burden them financially because you're asking for a favor. But again, like this with the Canadian stamps, if you can make it as easy as possible, that's definitely the way to go. As far as buying foreign postage from across the pond, I have no idea how you do it. So the Canadian website is really easy to do. And again, it's this one right here, and they will just ship it to you. So not bad at all. All right, so next, how do you find the addresses? That's where people, I think, a lot of times get hung up. I use 2 websites mostly. This one is called sportscollectors.net. I like this one a lot. I mostly use this one for my athletes, and you can search for them by name. So let's look up Paul, because obviously that one came back. So I wonder if there's a change in address. I don't know. Oops, or I misspelled the name. So here's Paul. Let me zoom in. So this is important because this is going to tell me my chances of success. So I have his name. Sports BB is baseball, but you can also up here limit to what you want, especially if it's a common name. If it's like a race car driver, you may want to put other sports or something like that. This shows successes. 249 people have reported that they got something back out of 469 that's sent out. Your success rate is 74%. The last success rate, which I like to look at a lot, is this date right here. Because if this says 74% success rate, but the last success rate was back in 2022, I'm probably not sending to Paul because I'm not assuming I'm going to get my cards back. Address, yes. Trade items, I don't ever look at that. But sometimes, especially if it's a common name, I will look at photos and or teams. So if I go to teams, it'll tell me what team they're on, and that will help me figure out if I got the right Paul. Also, if you want to send more than one card, this may help you find the additional cards that you may be able to sign. Photo is also really good. So This will also help you identify to make sure that you have the right person. I find it, I don't do it for everyone. If I know who it is, like Paul Osselmacher, I wouldn't have done that because there's not another one as far as I know. But this is just another good avenue. So what I'll do is I will go into successes. I will ignore requests. And here it shows me people have recorded what they've sent. So let's see, the last success is actually a failure. And that, my friends, is the same address I used. So there's something going on with that address. And here, this person even added a comment that said, RTS returned to sender a wrong address. And that's exactly what mine did too. So we do have a new address right here. And yeah, so it looks like maybe he moved. But what I usually do is to wait to see how many successes are coming in with that new address. So I'm not going to put the Paul Osselmacher cards back in my general collection. I will put them in a box full of possible TTM cards that I have set aside. So I can send those back out at some other point. So look, okay, so the last address was to this creek walk, and that is not the address I sent it to. So there is success with this new one. See, but that one is about the same time. So me personally, I'll wait and check back in a couple months and see how this new address is working. And if it does seem to be working, I will send my letter back out. So that's how I do it. Now, sportscollectors.net is really a good site. Like I said, it's one of my favorites. It's one of the ones I use all the time, especially for my sports autographs. But I think it's either 12 or 15 bucks a year. It's not a lot, but I guess it helps with the upkeep or whatever. But it's all, all of this is done by other TTMers. So it's just people sharing information. Now there's a free website called Sports Card Forum. Zoom out a little bit so you can see that one. Now this is a really good website too. This one has sports. So what right here it does a lot, several things, but I'm in this part right here called TTM Manager. That's the section I'm in. So what I really like this for is the non-sport. So I go to this non-sport tab, and then it'll show me all the celebrities by name, and you can look up first and last name, and it'll populate everything. But what I really like to do is I just do recent successes. And you can see that somebody posted that Eddie Raven returned on August 3rd, and they sent 2 things out and got 2 things back. Oh, that's another thing I meant to show you for sportscollectors.net. Something that how I determined, like I sent 3 or 4 cards to Paul. This number right here shows you that he sent 4 cards and got 4 back. I'm assuming it's a he. It could be a girl. I'm sorry. That's sexist of me. This person sent 4 and got 4 back. Sometimes they'll add a note. Like this one says signed 3 or 4 cards. This one will say exactly what he sent. And he said he did not sign the 93 for Donruss for some reason. We don't know why. Maybe he doesn't like that image. So this tells me that he's going to sign most likely 3 or 4. Here, look here. This one he said sent 6 and got 3 back. So 3 may be his limit. Also with this website, a lot of times there will be a note. They can add a note towards the top, like around here. And the note will sometimes tell you things like, hey, Julio Franco doesn't like to sign his Indians cards. Don't send him Indians cards. Or, hey, if you send Joe Blow duplicates, he's going to keep the duplicate. And it's just a heads up. And that may be fine. You may want them to keep it. This other section right here is fee. The notes will sometimes tell you if there's a fee and what they're charging per card. Or if, like, Paul doesn't charge, but there could be like, hey, he sent 4 cards. Let me find one. Let me zoom in a little bit. Sorry. So where is it? There it is. Sorry. I'm trying to look at the camera and my computer at the same time. It's not working. So this one says sent 5 cards. Now it could have been sent 5 cards, added $10 donation, and this is what he got back. So these are all just notes for other people, really, and it's about sharing. Another thing on this one is you can also do, you can show active players, which is really cool. You can go by last successes, Hall of Famers, which is kind of a cool thing that this website does. But mostly I use this for looking up specific players. And me personally, I send a lot of my 80s and 90s duplicate cards out. That's why I get so many back from that little era, because I just had so many. So that's a lot of what I send out. Going back to Sports Card Forum, yeah, so this is really cool. So this does have sports and non-sport, soccer, other sports, racing. So other sports is cool because you can get like Olympics and stuff in here. Wrestling, racing, all sorts of stuff like that. But like I said, I like to do the recent successes. And if I don't have a card and I really want it, sometimes I'll just add it to my ComC order or pick something up on eBay. But look, here's one. John Schuster, some Olympic cards. So it's really cool. And sometimes, they'll do the latest successes. Like these are just flat out on the right. The last cards that somebody logged in, it could be from any different thing. And sometimes it'll just, I'm like, oh, hey, that's a good idea. I should go look at that. Or, I don't know. Like I do look for sports addresses if I can't find them on the other website, but mostly I use it for my non-sport because I think that's really, this is how I get all the actors' addresses and stuff. This website is completely free, which is really nice. Especially if you're getting started and you don't know if you're going to like it, I would suggest you start here. Now, there's another website called, it's the last one, Star Tiger. Star Tiger is another paid-for website, and I think it's a little bit more pricey. It was like they had 3 different plans. Off the top of my head, I think it was like $6 a month. I tried it for 1 month to see if I was going to like it, and I didn't like it as much as Sports Card Forum. I just feel like this layout is really nice, and I didn't feel like Star Tiger was laid out as user-friendly. It has a lot more addresses though, so I mean there is that. So I just felt like finding the addresses and finding current and active addresses was much harder with this one. You can look up addresses on like what's it called? Let's look up address for here it is. It's fanmail.biz. Sorry, it took me a second to remember what that was called. And I will say, I mean, I think people use this. I've rarely used addresses from here, and most of them have come back unsigned. So, I mean, this exists. It's free. It's all done by again, fans. Keep this up. But I do like the latest and greatest over here. But as far as that, I don't use it a whole lot. I rarely even think about it, to tell you the truth. So I'm really happy with the setup I have. And then also I watch a lot of TTM channels. So if I see somebody gets back and I can't find an address, I just reach out to them, say, hey, I was looking for, here you go, Nick Cage's address. I saw that you got him back. Hey, do you happen to have that address? And maybe they do, and maybe they forgot it. Or maybe it was like 3 years ago and they just didn't keep it. That happens too. But I think the community as a whole does a really good job of supporting other collectors. So that was real quick. So, oh man, it's 20 minutes. It wasn't real quick. I tried to make it real quick. I hope it was informative. If you have any problems or any questions, feel free to reach out to me and I will do whatever I can to help you out with that. We can always talk about how to prep cards. If you have a shiny card or a card with a slick surface, you're going to want to prep that before you send it out, or it's going to come back all sorts of messed up. I can tell you right now, with this mess I have over here, this is how I prep my cards. Let's do it real quick. Baby powder. I just pour a little bit of baby powder on the top of the card.
I use a little Kleenex and I kind of scratch it in because it's an abrasive, so I kind of scratch it a little bit, and then I use like the microfiber cloth like I use for my glasses, and I clean it off really good when I'm done with it. So that's worked for me really well. It's not perfect, but it's worked really well. It does make a little bit of a mess though. So there are other ways that, people use erasers and things like that. You can always just Google how to prep cards. There's a bunch of videos like that, but that's just what I do. That's it. So I hope you have fun. Go out there and get some TTMs. It is so much fun to get autographs in the mail. All right. Talk to you later. Bye.
No one's really going to be free until nerd persecution ends.